Welcome back. Now, entrepreneurs may face a range of perspectives on political polarization depending on their industry, personal ideologies, and the specific challenges or opportunities they face in a polarized environment. Now, Trudy Theledi, who is an award-winning entrepreneur, TV and radio presenter, MC and speaker, and humanitarian, now joins us virtually to enlighten us more how political polarization affects businesses. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you this morning. Now, can you define what is political polarization, especially with regards to how it affects the public, and how are entrepreneurs especially being impacted by polarization, political polarization these days?
So political polarization is basically when there is a divide between two major political parties, when they have extreme views, and this is often the case where they differ in terms of social issues, or it could be land reform, things like that. But it's literally when two major companies have differing views, and but sometimes it is good, because sometimes you find that within that country, or within those political parties, one political party has been in power for too long, and the second party then brings pressure, could be reasons for corruption of the sort. So in order to root out evil, or to root out that corruption, I feel like the other party is sometimes a necessary evil in order to bring about accountability. And this obviously does directly affect entrepreneurs, because what happens in the political landscape always affects the economy, and in turn always affects businesses.
Now, maybe perhaps staying within the SADC area, what seems to be the contributing factor to a rise in political polarization? I know you talked about two contrasting parties within an environment who are contesting based on different ideas. But from your experience, what seems to be contributing towards this political polarization within SADC?
I think there's various reasons for that, but I do think that we face a great problem of corruption within the SADC region. I know within South Africa that it tends to be one of the primary reasons, but also social issues as well. I feel like there's always differing views. There's certain things that happen within political parties and how they govern, and there's always people that differ in terms of that. I think that it is necessary to have differing views, because obviously no one will be held to account. And so I think there are certain things in terms of social issues, in terms of corruption, that bring about other parties that differ in terms of their views as far as how the country is being governed at the time.
Now, in terms of this political polarization, do you find political division in government perhaps making it difficult for businesses to plan for the future? What if you are an entrepreneur and you find yourself in such an environment? How do you manage the uncertainty within this environment to continue to allow your business to thrive within this political polarized environment?
I think that entrepreneurs by nature are disruptors. The very term entrepreneur means someone who is a disruptor. Obviously, you're able to identify a problem or a need within a community or within a nation, could be, and you bring about a solution to that. And I think that entrepreneurs by nature are meant to be agile. So we're used to disruption of the sort. And obviously it is difficult to plan when there's uncertainty in terms of how the political landscape is. But I feel like entrepreneurs, by our nature, we ought to be agile and to adapt to whatever situation that comes our way. We can always plan, but I think the level of agility that we are meant to have helps us to plan, but also have contingencies should it not go that way. So it does have a direct effect, obviously, on how businesses do business, but I think that our nature as entrepreneurs force us to be agile, and therefore, as we plan, we have to plan for those contingencies as well.
Brilliant. But it also seems nowadays that businesses are being pushed to take a stance on political issues Let's talk about how you have navigated these challenges of staying neutral or becoming involved in a political discourse. And is it a must for businesses to indicate where they side, what their issues are, or to affiliate to their political, maybe a political movement? Shouldn't one possibly just be neutral, as this could also possibly impact your businesses in the end?
Yeah, I think it's prudent or wise to not be vocal, let me say, about your political stance, because obviously you're servicing people who have different political views. And if you are going to be vocal about your stance, then you might lose business. So it's always encouraged for businesses to sort of not be vocal about their political stance, but rather be vocal about social issues because obviously we have a responsibility to help as far as social issues are concerned.
Now, it's one thing, obviously, perhaps on the African continent to see, maybe this might be a new area in terms of people now starting to, especially businessmen or businesswomen starting to align themselves to some sort of party or, put it out there. But business, should they be involved in addressing social and political issues in the day, political issues within a specific country? Should entrepreneurs take an active role, when it comes to politics? Perhaps maybe just focusing a bit. You see, for instance, Elon Musk in the recently concluded U.S. election, it was anticipated or reported that he spent almost close to 150 million in support of Trump while he's a businessman. Is that an example that we should be following?
Elon Musk is a billionaire, so I think we should always look at that first. He has all the right to do that. He doesn't really miss out. He has made his mark. I don't think it's prudent to follow that as a young entrepreneur, or when you have you're still starting out, or whether you're building your business or your small to medium-sized business. I think that you should focus on building your business and ensuring that it gets to the likes of Elon Musk first, before you can actually have or be vocal about your political stance and be in those rooms where you can actually have sway. I think we should always note the fact that Elon Musk is already a billionaire, so he's kind of arrived and he can make those kind of moves.
So definitely he has got nothing to lose. Now, let's talk about how one manages media and social media when it comes to public opinions and political issues. Do you think that perhaps businesses and entrepreneurs should be caught up in the middle of political debates? Maybe it's an issue to provide your stance as where you are supporting where you belong, but it's totally a different thing perhaps to become actively involved and possibly also funding or allocating resources or possibly being even part of campaigns.
I think we always need to look at, okay, what is the objective? I think as an entrepreneur, it's always prudent to look at, to calculate risk. What is the risk attached to what I'm doing? If I'm going to be an activist, or if I'm going to join in on this campaign as far as this political party is concerned, how does that affect my business, right? How is there a direct correlation in terms of how my customers view me, right? So I think we have to be very careful as far as that is concerned. Like I say, most of us are still building up our businesses. So being vocal about that is one thing. Sponsoring a party is one thing. I think there are things that you can do in your personal capacity that don't have anything to do with your business, especially if your business is not directly attached to you as an individual. I think you're free to do that. But if your business is directly attached to you as an individual, I think it poses a risk to the well-being of your business. So I think it's prudent, especially with regards to things like social media, being vocal about where your stance is publicly, when it could possibly affect your business. I think we have to be wise as African entrepreneurs.
Well, Trudy Theledi, is there anything that you want to say before we let you go this morning?
I think I just want to say that if there's one thing that is a threat to us as a continent, it's divide, right? We are like one house with 54 rooms, and there's so much that we can accomplish as a continent if we work through things like our division, right? That's why I applaud organizations like the Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement, where we are trying to trade in between countries and really trying to elevate this continent to the potential that we know, or the place we know that it can get to.
Thank you very much for making time to speak to us this morning, and we wish you a blessed day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now that was Trudy Theledi talking to us all the way from South Africa. She's an entrepreneur. She was talking about the issue of political polarization, whether or not entrepreneurs should have views on political debates and should actually get involved, indicating, especially if you are a small or an upcoming business, it's very, very crucial that you don't engage, and also making reference to examples like Elon Musk that is well established and can't necessarily be compared to smaller businesses. So always ensure that you are informed before getting involved in businesses, in politics, especially if you are in the arena of business. Stay tuned. GMN continues for the third and final hour after the short break.